Nothing great was ever achieved by people who tried to be great at all things. And so I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna, I might not have a great relationship for a long period of time. I mean, there was like, a lot of people don't know this, but in the early days of our relationship, even when we were married, I told Liz, so the first 3 years, I said the business comes before our marriage. So a lot of people don't know that. And I was like, well, to me, it made sense. It was like, most people break up over money. The business makes money, so the business feeds us, and then we will be okay. That was kind of my thinking around it. And we eventually flipped that and said, like, if we're good, the business will be fine. But it took 3 years to get there. But all that to say, like, I think having periods of imbalance, and maybe, to be fair, if I hadn't had that priority at that time, maybe Gym Launch wouldn't have been what it became. And so I can't look back and say, like, I should have done it different, because it's really easy to say that now. But like, I might not be here to say that if I had been that way. I think it's just giving yourself permission to suck. It's giving yourself permission to be unhappy. It's giving yourself permission to not achieve while you do for a long period of time. It's giving yourself permission to lose friends. It's giving yourself permission to do things that's different than people in your social circle or your age group are doing. It's giving you permission, giving yourself permission to be an exception so that you can become exceptional. And a lot of that, the whole positive poly mantra of like, I saw a post a girl made, and she was like, you are worthy. And that's what made that tweet. All my tweets are just responses to shit I see. And so this girl was like, I say this to myself in the morning, like, you are worthy, you are amazing, you are a goddess. And I was like, you're not a goddess because you don't control me. And you don't have the things that you want. You keep thinking that you saying that you're worthy is going to somehow make it true. But like, the way that you know you're worthy is that you have it. That's it. Like, that is the litmus test. Are you worthy of $1 billion? Well, are you a billionaire? No, then you're not worthy. And so just like, I think we have these things, it's just like, you're unbalanced. It's like, you're not worthy. There's these things that we're programmed to say, oh, that's bad. You have to tell everyone they're worthy. Everyone's beautiful. No, if everyone are beautiful, then no one's beautiful. And yet again, we're back at square one. And so it's I guess, drinking the tonic. It's going through the shit, which is honestly the boring stuff that no one wants to do for an extended period of time. And accepting that you suck and that it is okay, because the first step is accepting that you suck so that you can do the second step, which is doing something about it. The people who, mean a lot to you won't remember you to a degree, sure. Whenever I have my harder times, that's my like reminder to self of the absurdity of it all, which is like, someone's gonna argue over what appetizer they're gonna serve when I die. This probably doesn't matter that much. If you've ever been so drunk that you're throwing up and you think to yourself, man, I'm probably not gonna remember this. The good news is that once you do succeed, that terrible period of vomiting or whatever the difficulty is that you're going through, it'll actually compress in your mind. And so as difficult as it may seem in the moment, it actually doesn't stay with you. All you'll have left is the thing you accomplished. You won't remember the work that it took to get there. There'll be a significant discount on the punishment you endured. I tend to have a bad habit of really not looking back very much. And so I occasionally will go through my photos and I am reminded about all of the mistakes and the detours that I took along the way to where I wanted to go. You will die. Months later, no one will care. And so why care about what they think so much when they care so little about what you do? Like, take the risk, right? Shake off the losses, shake them off. Because in the end, you live for the story only you can tell to the only person who was there with you the entire time, which is you. You might as well make it epic, because you're literally the story writer and the story listener, the story consumer. We're born alone and we die alone. Even if other people captured your entire life, they still don't know what was going on in your head. They don't know your intentions. They don't know what you were thinking through at every given moment. Only you do that. That's why being able to, over time, in my opinion, be the judge, jury, executioner of your own faith and your own judgment is one of the most valuable things you can do, because you're the only person who can say, good job. You might win in some circumstances and not have tried. To me, that's a loss.
because you know you could have put more in. You didn't empty the tank, right? You left some on the field. The other extreme, if you followed a logical thought path and you moved mountains to try and accomplish something, and if you actually had exhausted every possible path that you could think of, truly, beyond costs that were not worth the price of whatever you were trying to get, you exhausted all of the paths that were worth it, and you don't get it, other people may have said that you lost, but you know there's nothing else you could have done. And so you can still say, good job.
I think to myself, man, I'm afraid of doing this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm afraid of what this person's going to think about me. Because if I were to be able to fail in quiet, in complete isolation, then I wouldn't care. And then I think, well, what if I don't succeed in public? What do they think then? Nothing, right? They don't think about me at all. And so obviously that comes from the perspective of seeking to gain approval and attention from others anyway. So it's like, listen, if you're insecure, which everybody is, let's be real, you might as well use the insecurity to get something out of it, right? Like one of my favorite things about entrepreneurship is like, use what you've got. And so a lot of people think that they need to fix their conditions in order to get like the perfect conditions before they start. But the perfect condition is whatever one you're in, because it gives you whatever assets you have. That's the cards that you're dealt. And so you just play the hand. And a lot of people have great cards. It's like, man, I'm so afraid of, it's like, use it. It's like, I have nothing. It makes you very dangerous because you have nothing to lose.
Your life every day exists as evidence that you can handle everything that has come your way. And I think that if you've ever had any need for evidence, let that be the greatest evidence of all.
I think to myself, man, I'm afraid of doing this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm afraid of what this person's going to think about me. Because if I were to be able to fail in quiet, in complete isolation, then I wouldn't care. And then I think, well, what if I don't succeed in public? What do they think then? Nothing, right? They don't think about me at all. And so obviously that comes from the perspective of seeking to gain approval and attention from others anyway. So it's like, listen, if you're insecure, which everybody is, let's be real, you might as well use the insecurity to get something out of it, right? Like one of my favorite things about entrepreneurship is like, use what you've got. And so a lot of people think that they need to fix their conditions in order to get like the perfect conditions before they start. But the perfect condition is whatever one you're in, because it gives you whatever assets you have. That's the cards that you're dealt. And so you just play the hand. And a lot of people have great cards. It's like, man, I'm so afraid of, it's like, use it. It's like, I have nothing. It makes you very dangerous because you have nothing to lose. You stay in poverty until you learn the first lesson of poverty, which is 2 words, my fault. And so when I was younger, I was really angry at my parents, like many people are, right? Justified or not, doesn't really matter. I was very angry and I blamed them for the woes of my life. And I realized when I was 19 that these people that I hated, I was giving all the power over the fact that I wasn't the person I wanted to be. And I was like, well, it's their fault. And the idea that I had actually given these people that I hated power over my success was ultimately something that made me feel sick to my stomach and was what allowed me to point the finger of blame inwards and say my fault, and then at least take ownership over the fact that like, sure, maybe your dad didn't hug you enough, or maybe your mom wasn't present, or whatever it is, right? It's like, and I think that most of us can look back on our lives to 10 years ago and think about the problems that we were dealing with then, and think about how much of a pittance and how small those problems were compared to the problems that we deal with today. At least that's how I probably feel. Maybe you feel the same way. And so I then think, okay, well, if I feel that way about the problems that I had 10 years ago, then 10 years from now, Alex will look back at the problems that I'm dealing with today and feel the same way. And so if he feels that way then about the problems that I have now, then the only difference is the perspective that he has that I don't have. And so I might just be a sensitive little pansy, and maybe these aren't problems at all. Maybe these are just facts of life and I need to habituate to them. So I spent 5 years building a chain of gyms. So I had 6 locations. And after that, I sold 5 of them. I shut one down. And then I transitioned to doing turnarounds. In the transition between shutting my gyms down, I got a big payday because I sold my 5 gyms. Big for me, relative. I took all that money and I put it into the next thing. The partner that I had in that next thing ended up taking the money and disappearing, filing bankruptcy, and sending it to his girlfriend in Sweden. I couldn't make this up. So there was no way I could get the money back, and he had filed bankruptcy. So there's no course of action for a lawsuit. And so a lot of people would probably go through that mental situation and think, and I went through this, was thinking, I just wasted the last 5 years. Like I literally started to change, put everything into the second location, put everything in the third location, the fourth location, kept going, right? I kept doubling down, and then I get my big payday and I put it all on black, and then it disappears with one spin of the roulette. And so here I am, and I'm like, I have nothing to show for the last 5 years of work. But then in the next 12 months, I made more money than I'd ever made in my entire life up to that point. The 5 years I made more profit the next 12 months than I made in the last 5 years times like 5. And it was because, and I was only able to realize this in retrospect, which is why I'm sharing it, which is that the thing that was the outcome of those 5 years was me and the skills and the experiences that I possessed through going through it. And so whatever the next mountain that you're trying to climb is, of course it's going to be higher, but it's going to require you to go through the smaller mountains to get to that point. So, because the more able you are, the more able you realize you can become. And you will get way bigger outcomes from the things that you had, like the path that led you here, than you think you can. That's why since that moment where I lost everything, and then I was able to make more in the next 12 months, I realized that no work is wasted because I am the output of the work, not the outcome. And that was one of the biggest frame shifts for me in never thinking that work is wasted, because the more I work, the bigger my work ethic, the more my work capacity increases.
What do I think is productive that isn't? Calls, Slack and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Staying in on weekends, sitting at my desk when I'm not working. What is productive that I don't realize? Dinners with new people, attending events, travel, reading. Personal observation. You get absolutely better returns at the top ends of achievement because oftentimes assets pool to the winners. The problem is, to achieve the highest levels, you have to give up proportional amounts of the things you hoped the achievements would get you. There comes a time when the hard work you have to do is learning that you can't work any harder any longer, and that you have to change what got you here to what will get you to where you want to go. You can work to get anything you want, but you have to sacrifice the other things you want to keep it. And that's sometimes harder than the work. You once wanted the life you have. And if you don't like the life you have, you probably won't like the one you want, but don't have either. You really can solve a lot of male problems by getting in shape and making money. You still have problems, they're just smaller, and you have more resources to handle them. The world is there for the taking for anyone who can learn from their mistakes, do what they say they were going to do, and stick with it, even if it's not sexy. What used to make a man acceptable now makes you extraordinary. The bar for winning has never been so low. Whatever negativity is consuming your thoughts probably won't matter in 3 months' time. In 3 months' time, you won't remember the corrosive texture of your mind, or the boring, repetitive things that you thought, or maybe even what you were worried about. But all of that time that you spent worrying will have still passed. So you are sacrificing your joy and presence in the moment for a problem which you won't even be able to recall in the future. So immortality is literally the only life where such flippancy with the days that you're alive for is acceptable. Problems are a feature of life, not a bug. There will never come a time when you have no problems. What? Did you think that you would just wake up one day and you're going to cease having problems? Like completing a video game and leveling up to a map where there's nothing there. That is never going to happen. Your problems will change, sure, but having problems is going nowhere. Dealing with problems is the cost of doing business as a human. It's not a personal curse on you. The Queen of England died 18 months ago. She ruled an entire nation and accumulated more wealth than 99.9% of humans. And yet, you haven't thought about her, except for right now. No matter how big your dreams, you're gonna die. Everyone will move on. Do what you want. It sucks to not be liked, but it sucks more to not be yourself. You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. But not having a bad year you've had a few bad days that you're thinking about for the rest of the year. I've found it helpful when I'm in a bad season, like I'm in right now, to just focus on having a good day. A good day in a bad season is a bite-sized victory. String a few of those in a row, and a bad season feels less hard. I'm pretty sure the difference between a happy life and an unhappy one doesn't come down to how many good or bad days you have, but which days you think about over and over again. In some seasons of life, maintaining is winning. You are your own worst enemy. You waste precious time dreaming of the future instead of engaging in the present. Since nothing seems urgent to you, you're only half involved in what you do. People aren't going to really remember any of the things that I do, and I'm not probably going to remember them either. What does it matter if it's perfect? What does it matter if I should just enjoy it? I should just have fun. The learning comes from the edges is so great because you think, well, I want things to be smooth. I don't want to face these challenges. I don't want to be in this difficulty. I wish that I didn't have this problem. I wish that this stress wasn't here. You go, okay, looking back, did any of the development that you care about come from a period where you didn't have problems exactly the same as this, completely akin to whatever it is that you're going through? You go, well, it was the most rapid change that I actually had in my life. And in retrospect, I'm really, really glad for the way that I alchemized this problem into something that was beautiful. You go, okay, so is there any of that energy that you can take from the past and bring to the present and say, I know that I'm going through it, and I know that it sucks, and I know that trying to be pithy and reframing the present moment that is total arse into, oh, well, in the future I'll be great. Like, yes, that sucked, but just that tiny little bit of insight that this challenge that you're going through is a gift to your future self. It is something that in future you will look back on with so much pride and glory, this odd sort of very normal version of glory. You didn't win a battle, you didn't complete a war, you didn't conquer some new land, but you conquered a part of yourself. You conquered a challenge that may have ended you in one form or another. It may have buried you, or buried somebody else, buried a past version of you that wouldn't have been able to deal with it. And if your negativity that you're thinking about now doesn't matter in 3 months' time, you can't recall it, why waste the moments that you've got, this sort of precious life, this brief sliver of existence in between two eternities of nothing? And problems are a feature of life, not a bug. They are just going to continue coming. You're not going to have a perfectly smooth ocean where nothing gets in your way. And it would be boring if you did. And despite the fact that you have these things in front of you and that the challenges may even increase in size, your capacity to deal with them is going to increase in kind. And anti-fragility is alive and well. So, yeah. It's the same with everything, dude. Confidence. Right. Mm-hmm. The people who are on an absolute tear, whether this be in the NBA or in podcasting or in art or in music or in whatever, that are just, everything they touch is magic. And it just gets better and better and better. And then you see the people that are on the other side of that hill, and everything that they do just gets worse, and that reinforces their fears about it being worse. The baseball pitcher that's got the yips, right, just can't hit anything at all. Control freak is a word people with low standards use to describe people with high standards. You're not a control freak. You just want it done right the first time. You're not anxious. You care. Do not expect mediocre people to support world-class goals. A better definition of self-love would be holding yourself to a higher standard than anybody else.
Yes.
Like, what if you are your own biggest champion?
Yes.
And then what if having friends, good friends that care about you, are people who believe in you more than they pity you? Discipline eats motivation for breakfast. You don't need motivation. It's great if it arrives. It's some extra fuel on the fire. But discipline is the thing that you need. What would you tomorrow want you today to do? You tomorrow would want you to keep that promise to yourself. And it's why discipline is so much more valuable. I remember this conversation between Jocko Willink and Sam Harris 6 years ago. And they're talking about how you can't fake bravery. Because if you do a thing in spite of being scared of doing the thing, that is bravery. Right? There's no such thing as fake bravery. Like, you just If you do the thing and you're scared, that's bravery. If you don't do the thing and you weren't scared, that's not bravery, right? The same thing goes for discipline. Doing the thing in spite of not wanting to do the thing is discipline, right? You don't need motivation to get yourself up to go and do a thing. Make the promise small, build it up step by step. Know that you are going to have setbacks. And this is my favorite rule from James Clear, which is a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit. Never miss 2 days in a row. So ideally, go for a month, build it up. But after that, if you ever miss one day, go, okay, mistakes are going to happen. Tomorrow I double down. Tomorrow I go on time, absolutely perfect. I'm straight up out of bed, or I go to the gym, or I walk the dog, or I do my meditation or whatever. And that's a good heuristic. Stops errors snowballing into new habits. Do not be the caught cynic. The ability to express wonder and amazement and seem like you mean it is a rare and dying talent, but one still greatly valued. The doing hard things thing pushes you into a place that the world can't. You know, when you are the guy that runs the company or that has done the self-work, that has found the wife, that has done the whatever. And this is one of the reasons why I think that, you know, you look at older dudes that are getting, Jocko's a good example. I think he's in his 50s and he 4:30 or 4:20, 2 a.m. or whenever that watch photo goes up every single day. He's up, he's working out, he's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's trying to build a company. All of the products in the company that he's trying to build are responsibly sourced, or like, you know, no preservatives and all this stuff. So he's like trying to be as ethical as possible, building boots made in Idaho or wherever it is, American sourced, American made, all of these things, like really trying to live the ethos of being aligned. He's sold millions of copies of his book. He didn't need to do this. But if he didn't go out of his way to find things that were difficult for him, there would be no difficulty left in his life. His success has snowplowed so much stuff out of the way. And this is why, as guys age, I think it's even more important, because your success is going to make life even more comfortable for you as you grow up. So you need to continue to find things. Okay, where can I be humbled? I'm going to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with someone who's got twice the skill set that I do.
You get a reward for it. And so to see my son, I'm coming to a concert tonight with my daughter. Listen to me, like, I didn't give up. And so I'm saying to everybody, we all go through pain. Some of us go through pain and it becomes our tombstone. Some of us go through pain and it's a scar. And we live a life of reward. So I'm just gonna say, again, 2025, do me a favor, check you. So you're in the ballot box and you're looking at all these options, doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever you see, president, mayor, governor, do me a favor. Before you check off any of that, S&P 500, real estate, before you check any of that, check you.
Yeah.
Before you check anything, check you and go look yourself in the mirror and go, yo, I'm my lottery ticket.
What do you say to some of the younger generation that feels like they're a failure if they don't accomplish things by 20 or 25 that they feel like they're supposed to accomplish?
So here's where I went with that. One of the dangerous things is the outside-inside theory. It's dangerous because what you're doing, whether you know it or not, you are comparing your journey and your life to somebody else's journey and somebody else's life. Like, you don't even have, let's just be honest, you don't even have the right context to do that. You don't know why they're doing what they're doing. You don't know like what their strengths and weaknesses are. So you're comparing yourself to somebody that may have strengths that you don't have. Like they're nowhere near who you are.
Yes.
And so you're comparing yourself. So this is why I believe for those of us who finally get it, it's the inside out. Like everything we do starts from the inside. And then from there, we kind of say, oh, okay, I see my boy Lou, he's doing X, Y, Z, but I'm not doing it because you're doing it. But I'm calling you, you're kind of saying, in the industry, this, so I'm using the information you're giving me to build my journey, not I'm trying to be you. And so what I realized was, yeah, there's some kids that can come and graduate in 4 years because they took K through 12 serious.
My parents really didn't show up for me, or I was abandoned, or I got cheated on and abused, and sexual abuse and physical abuse. And I know what you went through was pretty hard and it was tough in inner city, but what I'm going through is even harder.
Yeah.
And it's too much of a weight. Yeah. It's too hard. It's too much friction to eat healthier, to get up earlier, to be consistent. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
Dream life.
Proud. My wife was like, I want to work out. My son was like, I didn't even know. She was like, I'm going to play basketball. I'm like, I can't do it right now. And I'm listening to a voice. He came home, heard the basketball, went out with his mom. I'm like, yo, my son, 29 years old, is spending time with his mom as an adult male.
Wow.
He could be anywhere doing anything. He's with his mom, her firstborn. They got this bond that I don't have, and they're out here hooping. And as I look at the property, I'm like, yo, what if the 16-year-old Eric Thomas would have stayed the 16-year-old Eric Thomas?
Wow.
So I'm saying for those who are listening, get a reward for it and then do me a favor. Don't just think about you. Like, do you know that my son is not safe in Detroit to be in abandoned buildings walking on? It's not safe. And I had put myself in so many situations where guns were pulled out on me. You know, people would break into the abandoned building and take my belongings from me. It's like, what are you doing? Like, come on, bro. This version of me had gone all the way. It was like, if you don't stop.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm glad you're there, because like I said, I don't talk about that anymore.
So it's interesting you just said that, because the future you had to have wisdom and kind of speak to the younger you. This version of you at this age, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years later or whatever, is speaking to the younger you and saying, wake up.
Wake up. Wake up. Greatness is in you.
Dang, man. This is fascinating, man. What,
you spent some kind of way in your soul, you feel like, because of where you were and all these people that helped you get to where, so it's like you feel like you owe people to not be in mutual relationships. Like you feel like you're so blessed and you have so much. It's almost a survivor guilt that now you just gotta be with people who you gotta pull, and you gotta be with people that you got to beg to, and you gotta be with people who you just gotta bless, and you may not get nothing back. You're like, no. In this season, these relationships have always been there for you. Wow. But you haven't taken advantage of them because it's like, I gotta help and I gotta fix. And y'all on TikTok, y'all blew TikTok up. Mm-hmm. And I knew it because adults are on LinkedIn and LinkedIn
Instagram.
LinkedIn made no money. TikTok, billionaire. Instagram, why? Because these young people are there. I said, when you show up to anything, it blows up. Here's my problem. You're in the school and you're failing. Why? Because you're waiting for the teacher to teach you. The teacher didn't teach you TikTok. The teacher didn't teach you how to play
YouTube Call of Duty.
They didn't teach you how to do that. You did it on your own. Why? Because you wanted to do it. And anything you activate, anything you do for you, it's going to blow out. But you're waiting for some teacher to teach you. When you can pick up a book, figure out your North Star and wake up every single day going after your North Star. Because when you have a North Star, you know, and the people that you love and you spend time with have a North Star, have a purpose. And their purpose might be, we both have people whose purposes are help us with our purpose.
Yes.
They don't necessarily have an individual purpose. Right. Like they felt like they were called to help us
to serve our mission.
That's it. So we need a North Star so they can know what their North Star is.
Yeah.
So that would be my third one. It's like, you got to figure out what makes you happy. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. We don't realize we are a community, right? And look, I'm not trying to be deep. You know, people could, you know, you believe this, you don't believe in this. But what I was taught, you know, in school, especially Catholic school, it seemed like Adam was by himself first. It doesn't seem like it was like somebody else. It was like Adam was first, and then whatever happened after that. So the first man was by himself. And I think that's important for those of us who study that. Why? Because all of us think we have to have somebody to be somebody. And this guy started his journey on his own before he connected with somebody. He knew his purpose. You know, he walked in his confidence. And a lot of us are going, I hear people say all the time, well, I'm not doing good life. Why not? I don't have nobody. And then, am I willing to do what it takes to get it? That's it.
Because it's a lot.
It's a lot. But here's the thing. I believe if you think about it, it is only because somewhere inside of you, you have what it takes. Now, capacity is there. Willingness is something totally different.
Yes.
That's different. But I want every human to know, you wouldn't be watching you wouldn't be watching or listening to the School of Greatness if you didn't believe you were great. I'm for real. You wouldn't be spending time with this man, but you recognize I overcame it. And that's why you like, I want to rock with this dude. Because this one ain't, some kind of way, Eric ain't the one that's making us feel like, oh, it's okay that you went through this, and it's okay that this, and it's okay if you don't want to grow, and it's okay if you don't want. No, what you're hearing from me is a coach that's saying, Jordan, you got 6 rings in you, but you got to stop playing this way, and you got to start playing this way. Kobe, you got great, but you gotta do it this way. Serena, you got it. Venus, you got it. That Richard Williams is saying, he's not out there just. That's the je ne sais quoi, that my daddy wasn't there. That's the it factor. If my father had been there, I might not be able to go in here and relate, or my videos and go viral. People are like, okay, maybe if I just had Eric's voice, or if I just scream and I just look passionate. Bro, that's not what it is. It's when I speak, you hear it because I've been through what you've been through.
Wow.
And so you recognize that voice, you recognize the pain, you recognize the struggle. I said, you should figure out what it is you do. He's a designer, right? You should be designing clothes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever, 5-6 hours a day. And then Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, because of your family, you should get a trip somewhere and go spend it with a friend. You should go you should go to Italy. You should go to Rome, son. You should go to South Africa, son. You should go to the Gold Coast in Australia, son. What are you doing? Like, you should work, but a part of work also is, where's your play? You should play. We worked hard so you could be back. So don't be like us. We grew up in a working class home. We grew up in Detroit. We grew up blue collar. You're not blue collar. So go enjoy your life. Be balanced. So I'm not just saying find your North Star in terms of what you've been called to do for others, but there should be
How does someone get to a place, and maybe it's true that things are holding them down?
They're absolutely true.
Right? Maybe it's true.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing you say, that living in a victim mindset or living in an outside-inside theory will not help you.
Assets were real estate. My greatest asset was a degree or a career. Nobody ever told me I was my greatest asset.
Yeah.
I'm my greatest asset.
Yes.
No, it doesn't matter. Look, people act as if you grow up in a house where your parents are rich, you're automatically, bro, we can look at people who grew up in wealth.
And are messed up.
Bro, they messed up. They on drugs too.
Yeah.
They make bad decisions too. Unfortunately, they take their lives as well. They check out. Bro, it does not. So people think a money environment, or you have both your parents in it and you get, so you think your story is, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you don't activate you, the environment doesn't matter anyway. Great environment, bad environment. If you're not activated, bro, I sit here sometimes and I could whip myself, my grandma, the government, the where you come from, your dad not being in your mom, like your mom being young, that has absolutely nothing to do with why you can't read. You can't read because you are lazy. You can't read because you don't take it as serious as you take playing intramural football. You shouldn't be playing intramural football. You should be studying. And so when I start taking my life serious,
wow,
yeah. Again, I mean, I say this with all, sincerity. I'm in one of the best podcasts in the world, and not only that. When people were asking about it, I was like, oh no, I got a relationship. Like, this ain't what you think it is. This is not, to your point, I don't do podcasts. Like, I don't have that media schedule where you don't see Eric Thomas on different shows. And I remind people, don't get it twisted, I can't be on shows. That's just not my thing. Yeah. So I'm not here today just on I'm going to hit Lewis Biden, then I got this podcast, then I got that. That's not what this is about.
A concept I want to share in a second. But I feel like there's a group of people you've been talking to, that are the people that have maybe don't have the opportunities they want, they don't have the life they want.
And I just think so many of us have stepped into careers, that group. We have worshiped careers more than we worship create. And so the first thing I would say to that group is, what would life look like if you did it on your terms? Because right now, you're really not doing it on your terms. What you've done is say, if I want to survive, if I want to strive, this is what I have to do. And you have allowed people to tell you, okay, you need to be an engineer, or you need to be and you need to move in. So you've done a phenomenal job in being obedient. You've done a phenomenal job in complying.
Yes.
Like, you've done a phenomenal job. You follow the rules.
Yes.
Congratulations.